I'll just... Hello. So my mic's in the way. We're going to record our second episode. It's very exciting, and we've already started on the wine. It's not my fault. Kim brought wine over.
Still daylight outside.
And it's like 1 p.m. Sorry, kids. So this is going to get interesting. Okay, let's do it.
Right.
You good? Okay.
Kim and Em versus evil. Behold, two armed and dangerous women do battle with the forces of cinema villainy. Hello and welcome to Kim and Em versus Evil, the podcast where we take on cinema's greatest and sometimes weakest villains. Sometimes a villain is less obvious than the preferred central antagonist of a film. Sometimes it's not even corporeal.
Yes, sometimes the real villain of a movie doesn't even have a body. It might be a spirit or a system in society or anything, actually, at least according to our definition of the word.
Yeah, and I looked up a dictionary definition. So the Merriam-Webster definition of a villain was my favourite because it was the broadest. So 1, a character in a story or play who opposes the hero. 2, a deliberate scoundrel or criminal. 3, one blamed for a particular evil or difficulty. If a location or an object can be a character in a film, and often they're spoken about in that way, so can a theme or some aspect of society or the world we live in. Therefore, that thing can also be a villain and at the root of evil in a movie. That's our definition. I hope that makes sense. With that laid out, I am Kim Taylor Foster Esquire.
And I'm Ted Emily Booth Logan. And together we are Wild Stallions.
No.
Oh, sorry. No, we're not talking Bill and Ted, not yet. Anyway, you never know, it might come up. No, the movie of choice for this episode of the pod, it's a humdinger. It's a big one. And it needs no introduction, really, but we're going to give you one anyway, because that is the way of things. It is none other than Hellraiser. Oh, yes, it's a horror classic that spawned a long-running 11-movie-strong franchise, mostly straight to video. I've not actually seen them all.
I've seen them all.
I did 1, 2, 3. So yes, today we are talking Clive Barker's Hellraiser, one of my favourites. Halla bloody Luya, or should that be Hallelujah? I didn't write that one. I love it though.
Sorry, that was me. Anyway, let's configure our Le Marchand box and open up this fiery discussion from the bowels of Emily Booth's living room.
It is, I'm afraid, at the moment.
And begin with a plot summary to remind us all of what goes down in suburbia. Come to daddy.
Come to daddy. Oh, creepy stuff. We're going to talk about, what he really shouldn't say too much later on. But on to the film. Okay, bear with. After a man pursues a puzzle box seeking extreme sexual gratification, he unleashes a massive can of whoop-ass on his own ass when sadomasochistic demons from beyond claim him with the intention of subjecting him to an eternity of torture.
When he is unintentionally brought back to the land of the living, in the attic, or is it the top floor? Whatever, of his mother's former home. Presumably his father lived there too, but there was no mention of the father. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. But the home is now occupied by his brother and his wife, Julia. Frank, this is the guy we're talking about, bids Julia, with whom he was having a steamy affair, to bring him victims to help restore his body and escape his tormentors.
But his niece, Kirsty, and of course the Cenobites have other ideas. Oh God, where do we start? Hellraiser is huge. I've always loved the film. Always. I only saw the classics, to be honest with you. Just for clarification, we know it was remade in 2022. Is it David Bruckner?
Yeah.
I said that right?
Yeah, that's right. I think so.
And while that is a film in its own right, and it's probably really good and everything, I haven't seen it. And we're going to talk about Hellraiser sort of generally. It is a whole universe that Barker has made.
Yes.
Massive universe. But we're largely going to focus on sort of Hellraiser 1 and the characters within it. That said, whilst researching this, I think Kim and I have just come up with so many notes because it's huge once you start to dig.
Goodness, yeah, I've got a lot of notes. But so 1987, the first film came out, Clive Barker's directorial debut. I'm going to go into a few little background trivia bits in a minute. But first of all, what are your memories of first watching it?
I wish I had a good anecdote, but I don't. I can't remember the first time I watched it. It just entered into my life, as is the way of things. And my other little relationship with Hellraiser, I'm quite proud of this little one. I'll just crowbar in. When I was working for Horror Channel, I kind of said, look, we should be showing Hellraiser. We should have a whole Hellraiser night. So I helped them get the rights for Hellraiser 1, 2 and 3. And then I got Doug Bradley in for an interview. And I set all that up and I interviewed him while sitting on his knee, which is a bit weird.
Oh.
I don't know why we did that, but I don't
think okay back then.
It's like Santa. It was all right back in it wasn't the 90s. I can't keep saying that. No, it was. I don't know when it was.
It was like, it felt
few
fine. It
years
felt
ago.
natural. That's all.
Yeah.
There is no suggestion of any
fine.
impropriety. It was fine.
Yeah, there was no pinheading going on. Anyway, no, I have interviewed Doug a few times actually, about 3 times at various events, and it's all good. So I don't remember the first time I saw it, but I absolutely love it. I had the film on Horror Channel, did a big competition. I've met Doug a few times, and when I rewatched Hellraiser 1 and 2 literally the other night in succession, I then had the most batshit crazy dream. So I think Hellraiser's pretty powerful stuff.
I've heard about this dream in detail earlier
Sorry.
today. But did you write this down? Because I think you should write it down. Anyway, so I mean, in terms of my first love affair with it, I suppose, I was very young, certainly preteen. I got into horror very young. I've talked about that before, but I remember being transfixed by it, and I really, it sounds weird to say this because I was really young, but I loved its sleaziness. There was something about it that just drew me in, and its Britishness, because Clive Barker, British horror writer, and then the cast, not all of them, some Claire Higgins especially. She's like this thespian, this wonderful actress, cast in his film. As I said, his directorial debut. I think he was a playwright before, so I think he'd worked with her before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will. But fascinated by her, by Claire Higgins, and her character and her performance and her look.
Quite unusual, because she's attractive, of course. But again, not. I don't know if it's a Clive Barker being gay thing, openly gay. We will talk loads about sexuality and sadomasochism and all that jazz. But yeah, I mean, I suppose Kirsty, the other lead, is attractive. But yeah, Claire Higgins, you're right. Beautiful, classic British accent and Pinhead. And Pinhead, right, thespian.
Yeah. But I think Pinhead was a character... I went in expecting to be this straightforward bad guy because I'd previously seen, even at that early age, Nightmare on Elm Street. What year did that come out? But also,
God, we should know this.
Friday the 13th.
Mid-80s.
I was a big fan of Friday the 13th. So, the Jason and Freddy, clear-cut kind of bad guys. But what I got in Pinhead was something far more ambiguous. I didn't know the word ambiguous when I was that young, but I knew that I was confused and conflicted about how I felt about him. Was he a good guy? Was he a bad guy? Was he none of those things? He certainly wasn't as scary as he appeared to be to me, but it confused and fascinated me. That's my memories of Hellraiser as a kid.
Which is why we're hoping Hellraiser is ripe, very juicy and ripe for this podcast, where we are looking at the ambiguity of what a quote unquote baddie really is. And in this film, yes, there's quite a few baddies going on, or villains, which we shall delve into. But firstly, oh gosh, where do we start? We know there's Hellraiser, the comic book. There's now going to be Hellraiser. The video game is coming out, I think, early 2026 to the PS5. Very, very exciting. So it's still here after all those years. I mean, how actually it's getting to an anniversary soon as well, next year maybe, or the year after. It'll be
the year after,
40, 50. So that's really cool. But shall we try and break down the Cenobites, the world?
Yeah.
Because it's a big one.
It is a big one. It's
big
always
one.
hard when something's so lore heavy like this.
I know,
but...
it is. And there's obviously going to be a lot of fans out there, so do forgive us if we don't know everything, because we don't. And please feel free to write in and give us more facts that we don't know. From what I believe, obviously, it comes from Clive Barker. Clive Barker wrote, is it The Hellbound Heart?
Yeah, that's it, yep.
There are my notes. He wrote The Hellbound Heart. It's based on that. He decided to direct the film. Very good decision, I think, because it's really good.
It's really
and
good.
Clive, he's only directed 3 films, and this is one of them.
Apparently there was because he was a first-time director, regardless of the fact that he was Clive Barker, they were only ever able to get a certain amount of money. There was like a ceiling on the money they would give because he was a first-time director.
Oh gosh!
But anyway, it was money well spent.
It didn't go on the attic or the loft or the top floor.
My God!
It went on the effects.
But the the reverse motion that they do of Frank coming back to life. I love that.
Anyway. Genius. So yeah, it comes from Clive Barker's novella, The Hellbound Heart. The box that you see, the crucial box, which is, now even this we had to talk about, because I've looked into it and I didn't realise that the box keeps changing name because it changes shape. The one that we're referring to is the Lament configuration, but also it's known as the, nice French accent earlier.
The Le Marchand box, after the toy maker that originally made the box that we see in the original film.
There's a demonic toy maker. This is all backstory though, isn't it?
But I think in Clive, yes, but I think in Clive Barker's other writings there are other...
In the Book of Blood and everything. Yeah, it is deep. It is deep, but
there are different configurations in the most recent film, the supposed reboot, requel, if you like. They do go into depth about all the different configurations of the box.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
So they do something different.
Yeah.
The Cenobites, of course, are a huge part of the whole world of Hellraiser. They are, to do a very, very big quote of the film, and a reason we're doing the podcast, angels to some,
demons to others.
Exactly. And if they're angels to some and demons to others, then there's ambiguity straight away.
Yeah.
They're underworld demons of the labyrinth, the dimension where pleasure and pain are indistinguishable. They were formerly human, and they kind of became these sort of experiments in sadomasochism and pleasure and pain, where they sort of become the flesh representations of kind of how far they've been willing to explore the boundaries of sort of sexual pain and pleasure. That's sort of how I saw it. And then I realised this is another thing where you start seeing all the kind of metaphorical Christian religious ideas and iconography. There's the Order of the Gash, which I'm sorry, I found hilarious because I didn't know it's called the Order of the Gash. So the Order of the Gash is sort of like all the Cenobites, ruled by Pinhead, who's also like the priest.
Yeah, but yes, so
dirty, naughty, sexy priest.
He's head, otherwise known as Hell Priest. The
Hell Priest.
But the Order of the Gash. Before we move on,
I don't know if Clive Barker knows what gash means to some.
Surely he does.
He's gay.
Well,
I just want to tell him, do you know what gash?
Of
It's a
course he-
horrible word, by the way.
He
Don't
knows.
use it.
He absolutely knows. He knows what he's doing. There's a female Cenobite.
Just makes me
And in the credits, she's called female Cenobite.
bit boring, isn't
Bit
it?
boring. But other literature delves a bit more into her backstory. And we know that she is also known as Deep Throat.
Yeah.
But also...
Don't know how I feel about that. Like
No,
the
but-
only female Cenobite called Deep Throat. However, she does have her throat being held open by wire.
Exactly. Well, it kind of tracks.
Yeah.
But did they think of the name first and then go, well, yeah, let's open her throat up?
Not just have a big giant penis rammed down.
Do you
there.
think that they did that at one? There's a scene that's cut
Oh
where
my
they
God,
where they had someone.
Well, they should just do backstory on her.
They
There's a
should.
film for you, Kim.
Well, she became the High Priestess of Hell. That's what I was leading up to. And she was, according to her backstory, very violent and cruel.
She was a naughty nun, wasn't she?
She was a naughty nun.
Sorry, really stupid thing to say. Naughty nun.
She was.
A naughty nun called Nikolai or something.
Lustful, naughty nun. Sister Nicoletta.
That's it. Nearly. Yeah, so they all have, the Cenobites are former humans who dared to dream of this other world of pleasure, stroke, pain. And we all know it's, again, metaphors with sadomasochism. It's very consciously like the aesthetic of the Cenobite design, which, by the way, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I hadn't really seen... I don't think I'd seen monsters, creatures like that before Hellraiser. Very imaginative. I mean, the Chatterer still scares the pants off me. Really does. And I think Silent Hill and loads of other films have taken those design ideas and sort of not ripped them off, but referenced them or certainly been inspired by them.
He was always really at the forefront of my mind when I thought about Hellraiser as a kid. And I remember being at school and doing impressions of the Chatterer.
Did you?
Yes.
Do you care to do one now?
Well,
No.
I've got red lipstick on, but
It's horrible.
It horribly is.
But his design,
But
his design. It's Nicholas Vince plays a Chatterer. Who I worked with on Werewolf Santa.
Oh my God, I was going to say, have you
It was
met him?
Werewolf Santa. Briefly, yeah. It's really funny when you meet people and you're like, oh, you're not a Cenobite, are you? Disappointing. No, just a thespian lovey.
That can of whoop ass.
in leather. A thespian in leather is how I'm summing up Hellraiser. No.
Well, that's not far.
But no, obviously Clive Barker, openly gay.
Yeah.
He was openly in the whole S&M scene, the nightclubbing scene in London. He's been quoted as saying, I'm a 6. I'm a 6 on the scale of 1 to God knows what, the scale of sadomasochism.
Did you say he worked as an escort?
Apparently, yeah. And, he's quite cool about all of this. I'm not doing any slandering or anything.
No.
This is all public knowledge.
So also, while we're still on background and trivia, the film was apparently made with the working title Sadomasochists from Beyond the Grave.
What?
Which I love anyway. I would.
Really? That's... I didn't know that. So, sadomasochists from Beyond the Grave. But that makes them sound like zombies.
It does, but there's another film in there with that title, I think. But
Yeah.
it's not Hellraiser. But I'd like to
No,
see
Hellraiser's actually really not comical, whereas that title sounds...
Yeah, it
rather
sounds
comical.
schlocky, doesn't
Yeah.
it? But
Yeah.
Hellraiser is very far from that.
You had another really... Because I've read some of these notes.
Oh, which...
Do the one on... it's quite dark for the beginning of an episode.
Oh, the flashback sex sequence.
I was really surprised by that.
So for quite early on in the film, you've got this flashback sex sequence between Julia and
Beyond
Frank.
the Grave.
Beyond the Grave. I mean, that comes later. Pardon the use. Oh, you've got to be so careful. Anyway, Frank, who is the brother of Larry, who Julia is married to, was so the flashback is to their wedding night. Larry and Julia have just been married, and Frank turns up at their home and seduces Julia, and this is the beginning of kind of her downfall. She goes from pure bride to this kind of fallen woman who is introduced to the world of S&M and sex and lust and all of that. So I will stop stalling and talk about the anal sex that they were supposed to have. I think they did film it. I mean, not really, but the censors wouldn't allow that sequence. So they suggested putting the flick knife in instead, which then became a thing through the film. But and in that sequence, he uses it to cut the strap of Julia's underwear. But we do get ultimately at the end of the film, he stabs her with that knife.
Don't we see him cut her underwear with the knife in the finished cut?
Yes, we do.
That's the bit we do see.
Yeah, we do see that.
Oh,
but
that's
they replaced the anal sex scene with this the suggestion of violence of the knife, which is worse, right, than consensual. Presumably that sequence was consensual, the anal sex sequence.
Yeah, and the thing is, how would you really show that? Anyway, we're getting into
descriptions. But the scene also had some spanking in it. And
that's okay.
Well, not according to the MPAA.
Oh,
who didn't like it.
Knives are fine.
And this I like spanking. No, and I like this bit. He was supposedly, Clive Barker was also told 2 buttock thrusts from Frank was okay, but 3 was obscene.
Why?
Yeah. I got that from
1, 2, 3. Disgusting.
I got that from Wikipedia.
Oh, I like it.
But that was taken from Sam Hain magazine in 1987, just to quote my sources. But yeah.
Okay, well done, Kim. In the first 20 minutes, you've got anal sex and buttock thrusting in. Result. Okay, so we know where Clive Barker's coming from then. Quite extreme.
Yeah.
Definitely coming from quite an extremist perspective.
Yeah.
Let's break this down now. Okay, so most people know we've done a bit on the story. There's the whole kind of setup, the order of the gash, the Cenobites, how you become a Cenobite, which only becomes clear kind of in number 2.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about today, at least, is looking at the ambiguity and the grey, shady area of evil and villainy, and where is it placed in this film. And I think it's really cool when you look at Pinhead, because he is so eloquent. Yes. He's very, he obviously is designed, I think, to look like a really kinky priest with nails in his head. I mean, he has got like priest-like clothes on, albeit leather ones.
He's got those bits down across his nipples as well, where he's had some kind of injury. In
the process of becoming a Cenobite. But yeah, he's very well spoken. He's very thoughtful. And I'm going to just do a very, very quick quote, if I can find it, from none other than Doug Bradley. So this was just on YouTube on an interview. So he said, when I did the first film, I remember thinking, I'm playing a monster in a horror film. How cool is that? But as the movie went on, I felt less and less that Pinhead was the monster, that really the humans were the monsters. And for me, Pinhead felt more like a referee, a demonic, impartial judge. Judge Pinhead, move over, Judge Judy. So he said that, and I think, he comes across as quite almost unbiased.
Yeah,
he's just judging, and he's putting the evil onto them. Like, you chose this path.
Yeah,
you pay.
I mean, I think sometimes unwittingly they choose the path, but then they are judged. I think there's an element of that with Kirsty, although we don't find out a hell of a lot about Kirsty and what goes on beneath, do we? In her hidden desires and things like that.
No, I think let's start with Frank.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Frank, quite sexy. With his buttock thrusts. Sorry, my laugh is horrific. It's like it's like a dog's laugh.
I learned? Lance Henriksen appeared in one of the later
films.
I
was surprised by that casting.
Yeah, but he was originally asked to play Frank in the first film.
That would have been good.
Up for it, I don't know.
That would have been really good.
Yeah, anyway. Anyway, yeah.
So Frank, and again, I'm not sure why we have a sort of English American thing going on here, because it's sort of a bit biting, but Frank at the very beginning finds the lament configuration, solves it. It's meant to be hard to solve, whereas all the characters solve it relatively quickly, but he solves it, summons the Cenobites, who I presume deem him unworthy. Hence the torture begins, because he doesn't, he obviously regrets it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely searching for something and expects to find pleasure in pain, but what he gets is way too extreme and he can't handle it. And I think when you said about the box that is meant to be difficult to solve, I think if you're meant to solve it, then you can do it easily. So there's something within you. I don't know. That's what I think. But anyway, yeah, from the beginning, we know Frank is no good, right? Like,
he's a sexual deviant. They paint that picture, don't they? Because only a little bit, with like, you see the odd flash of a Polaroid and you're like, oh, what's going on there?
But even right before that, when he's bargaining for this box with the guy, what's your pleasure?
What's your pleasure, Kim?
You're so much better at it than me.
Well, he does have an accent. I love it. But they say that too. They say, okay, in this film, they say too much, come to daddy, which is rank. And they say, what's your pleasure, Kim? Way too much as well. What is your pleasure, Kim?
Oh, you don't want. Let's not go there.
Okay.
But we might summon Cenobites. No, didn't mean that. Okay, so like in that sequence that opens the film, he's got dirty fingernails, which is a sign of a villain. Flies are buzzing. This is a sign that flies are associated with Beelzebub.
Oh yeah.
So we know he's no good right from the start. He's associated with these things, with filth. When we enter the family home, when Juliet and Larry come to it, yes, it's been empty for a while, but Frank has been there, and it's horrible. It's squalid. It's grimy. He's been living in quite a makeshift, slovenly way because he's become a victim, I suppose, of his own desires, and then ultimately he was taken by the Cenobites. So he's not there anymore. There are cockroaches in his bed. That's gross. And bloody viscera here and there, maggots, grubby kitchen, which is the worst, the very worst.
Yeah, the aesthetic of, and then we were talking about, again, looking at the sources of evil and villainy, but the aesthetic of this film, as you were saying earlier, there's a lot of sort of suburbia going on. Like, I always thought when you see the house from the outside, and a lot of the action takes place inside the house on the top floor stroke attic. I think it's just a room, on the top floor. But the outside looks really cool and gothic, kind of interesting, like, ooh. And then the inside looks like a really quite lame sort of 1930s one up, one down, two up, one down, whatever it's called. And it is just like, there's something terribly normal about, like, there's pure, crazy, nasty, unbelievable horror going on just upstairs on the carpet. It just makes me laugh. Like, it's just like there's a skinless man, by the way, just like wandering around, hiding behind that door that somehow Larry doesn't know about.
Well, it's the rats.
It's just the rats. Never mind.
Which is bizarre. He's like, oh, it's probably just rats. Yeah, because I've got rats in my house, but I don't care about that. That's fine. Very strange. But yeah, I'm probably jumping ahead here, but that house when we first enter it, there's religious iconography. There's Jesus on the wall. There's a picture of Jesus on the wall. There's that statue on the mantelpiece, which is really bizarre. I don't know if that's if somebody knows about what that is, if that's a thing, let me know. But it's looming, it's big, it's got a halo, and it's holding someone's severed head on a platter. But also, and I presume Frank did this while he was there, he's put another halo of fairy lights around the actual halo that's attached to the statue, which, I don't know, made me think of Crown of Thorns. But where I'm going with this, when you go up the stairs to the top floor, on the top of the banister there's a figure that's demonic, like this winged creature, which makes me think of, so this is just outside the room that Frank's in. So it's like a guardian or a symbol or an emblem of hell, which is the room that he's in or represents, at which he resurrects within. And it makes me think of, I don't know why the decision, I think I know why the decision to make that the top of the house rather than like a basement or something, because normally in a normal film that activity would be going on in the basement and to signal hell and all of that.
Yeah.
But they've reversed it, and I think it's because of on the one hand, we are questioning morality and what's good and evil, and maybe it's topsy-turvy, maybe good and evil is a human construct, and also I think there's this idea that hell is, like as the subtitle of Hellraiser 3 goes, hell on earth is hell. And so we'll make that domesticity, and that's the bedroom, that's the top of the house instead of the bottom of the house.
No,
Sorry.
I like it. I like it. No, that's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know whether that was a conscious decision, but I certainly think that attic has played a part in lots of horror films traditionally.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were trying to mess with the idea of like celestial, you know, whether you're getting closer to heaven.
Yeah.
Because that, again, that's, there's a lot going on with religion here. So for me, I think religion is playing one of the biggest roles. And I looked into it a little bit. Clive Barker, it's not like he comes from a staunchly Catholic upbringing or anything, but he does love the whole Christian world, and he utilizes it in his work and his writings. But I don't know if it was a conscious thing. But I think the idea of martyrdom a little bit, you've got to feel getting closer to God, and this is what Martyrs is about a little bit as well. Whole different podcast.
We'll do that one day. Yeah.
Oh, Martyrs, I have a real issue with. Oh,
I know that's what makes it good for a podcast.
I know, and I know I'm wrong with it as well because everyone disagrees with me. But yeah, I think that whole idea of getting closer to God and feeling pain, and how much can you take, and then boom, then you see, I don't know, what do you see? You see the truth, you see the ultimate truth and whatever. So yeah, maybe that's why they are in the attic on the top floor. But also, as you were saying, looking at suburbia, the horrors of family life, domesticity. I'm not sure that, obviously Frank found all of that pretty tedious. And I found it really, getting my film jargon in, but there is that real juxtaposition, especially in Hellraiser 2. We were talking about it in my kitchen, weren't we? Yeah. Where you've literally got, and it's really stylized. And in fact, I found it really beautiful to watch. Like almost, I was like watching it thinking that would be a really good film print on my wall. That would be a really good poster or painting of Skinless Julia in Skinless Julia in, I can't remember his name, but in the he's not a psychiatrist, he's just a weird
the doctor.
Let's call him
Kenneth Cranham's doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's very, very, very white, clinical looking, perfect, don't get blood on my floor doctor. And then she's wandering around like oozing blood and pus and synovial fluids and all sorts. And it's
in
really
a white robe.
gross.
She's wearing a white robe.
Very much like white and red.
God, and you're like, oh, it's so filthy. It's going to get really bloody. They'll never get that out. But
that's what's weird about it. And with Hellraiser 1 as well, it's like seeing these otherworldly, demonic, hellish creatures wandering around a lounge. That it's quite nightmarish. It is, quite dreamlike.
Yes, it is. And I wanted to talk about Julia. Let's talk about Julia because she's another villain in the film. I've labelled her tertiary villain.
Well, her villainy, we don't know if she's, you're not born a villain. There's that whole discussion. And I guess it's her sexual attraction to Frank that's her demise, undoing.
I think so. But in the second film, she's definitely fully embracing of evil.
Yeah.
But she goes in Hellraiser we see through flashbacks that she when she first marries Larry, she's kind of softly spoken, quite meek and mild and pure looking. She's got soft hair and features and makeup. It's all soft, kind of pastel-y, pre-Frank. And then after she's been seduced by Frank and drawn into his world, his
buttock thrust.
His buttock thrust.
Sorry.
No, don't apologise.
Sorry.
She becomes much harsher in look, more higher contrast, if you like, she becomes more gruff, I think, speaking the way she speaks and things she says. Her makeup gets more defined, more bold, especially her eyes and lips. She's coarser, her hair is shorter and more styled. She looks less angelic and more devilish. And I thought, for a woman whose surname is Cotton, albeit she married into that name, there's very little cotton about her. Most of her fabrics, I think, would go up in flames at the hint of a naked flame.
Anything in the 80s would have gone up in flames.
She wears a lot of satin.
And hairspray.
And nylon. And the hairspray.
Yes.
On that style.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Quintessentially 80s.
So Julia, what do you think of Julia?
Julia, again, she's one of the aspects that interests me about doing this whole sort of, for want of a better word, deep dive into these films, from my perspective at least, is why we love to love a baddie or enjoy hating a character. So she's clearly presented as pretty bad and cold. She uses her sexuality to get these male victims. And the male victims, you know, when she's actually feeding Frank, there's a sort of sequence of sorts. And most of the men are sort of, they're shown to be quite lame and a bit desperate and a bit fugly.
You feel sorry for them, don't you? Do you not feel sorry?
No. No, not really. No, because they're shallow. They just want to get their rocks off, and I could be a lot ruder. But no, I just like her. She's a Black Widow.
She is,
and she's a villain. She's villainous. She's using her sexuality like a succubus or succubus, or as you called it.
I did.
Succubus.
Succubus.
I love a succubus, and no one's doing that anymore.
No.
But she's very much one of those. So we're supposed to hate her, but I enjoy hating her.
Yeah, well, she is the epitome of the wicked stepmother, right? And
yes.
I think she's got this evil queen aesthetic. And even and if you remember in the second film, I think they explicitly call her a wicked stepmother, or the evil queen. I think it was the wicked stepmother.
She has a huge role in the second one.
But it's like a dark fairy tale. The first film, that's what it is, and she's this evil stepmother that's come into the fray.
Absolutely.
And sparked this all this horrific turn of events.
But equally, if we're talking about ambiguity, she's serving Frank. Without
Yes.
Frank, she wouldn't have been doing any of that.
Absolutely.
And she's married to Larry.
Yeah.
Larry.
Should we talk about Larry?
Poor old boring Larry.
Well, he is. Well, is he? Yeah.
Quite well compared to Frank, with his dirty nails and his buttock thrust. No, he's Frank is obviously portrayed as far more sexually attractive. However dark and scary he is, I'd be a bit scared of Frank. But Larry is obviously the boring, safe brother.
Yeah, but yes.
And she's pretty shallow, I suppose. No, she is bad. Actually, thinking about it, she is pretty bad because she's already had an affair with her husband's brother.
I don't think that, I'm trying to find my notes on Larry, but I don't think that he's devoid of blame in this film.
Really?
I think there's a hint that he's quite controlling. When they walk through the door, or that they've had issues in their marriage at the very least, when they walk through the door of the house, he's trying to persuade her to move there, and she's not keen.
True.
And then she does say, oh, it's better than Brooklyn at least. So she was unhappy in Brooklyn, and I don't know whether that's why they wanted to move, but she doesn't want to move here. But there's something that stops her from properly talking about it at this moment with Larry, and I get controlling vibes from him.
Yeah, we know she's unhappy because he says to Kirsty at lunch or something, "Oh, you know, go and see her, make friends with her. She probably just needs a friend."
Yeah,
which is quite sweet.
It is sweet.
So I would say, if there is a scale of evil, he's only a 3 or something.
Yeah,
she's worse. I love her, but she's worse.
She is, but you know, there's an undercurrent there, and I'm not overlooking it.
Maybe we should go on to the Cenobites.
Yeah, because we haven't even really touched on Pinhead even yet, and he's the main antagonist.
So Pinhead, you only really see the creation and his backstory, and you know the birth of Pinhead in Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, where you do sort of briefly get a glimpse of the labyrinth and the Leviathan idea. Like, I kept on thinking, how does one become a Cenobite? And you sort of briefly see it. And you see the human before the Cenobite, which Kirsty then plays into, doesn't she? Like, this is a photo of you. You used to be human.
Yeah, and then they become two different entities, don't they?
What, the human?
Yeah.
I don't know, the sergeant or whatever he
Yes,
was, corporal something.
Yes, anyway.
I can't remember that.
And then they come back together again. Is that in the second one?
I don't
I'm
know,
so confused
actually.
now. Or is that the third one? No, that's the second one. That is the second one.
Maybe. We need to check that one. So, but again, I think there's that idea, isn't there? Like, there's the human side of you. Don't forget your humanity and who you really were. You're not just a Cenobite. But yeah, should we talk a little bit about, well, what the Cenobites really are? They're supposed to be underworld beings of the labyrinth. I think we've actually covered that. Which is that strange dimension. And what's the purpose of the Cenobites? To source, well, they're summoned, aren't they? They don't actively look for people. They're always summoned by people who've solved the box.
I mean, it's definitely not clear in the first film, and that's one of the things that I love about the first film is the ambiguity. But as with anything like this, when it gets developed, built on a whole lore, does emerge that's quite deep, and I think, you know, it varies, the idea of what the Cenobites are through the whole franchise, but generally they are like a judge and jury and passing judgment on humans, and
they have a job to do. The Order of the Gash have a job to do, and I took it as they're summoned by a human being who's got his grubby hands or her grubby hands on one of the puzzle boxes, which changes name now, we know, and they figured it out, and they are so curious, and they're willing to go to the absolute boundaries of their pleasure pain threshold, I guess. And then either you're tortured to death if you're deemed not worthy, or you actually become a Cenobite, because the Cenobites increase, don't they? There's loads of them towards the end. There's the Wire twins, there's CD Head or something stupid.
Oh my God, he was in the third one, wasn't he? Because they made them, they've made a ton in the third film, in the nightclub.
Yeah, the nightclub one was a bit silly but quite fun, I think. But so there's loads of Cenobites that are getting created.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm thinking about the creation of I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but the actor Goran Visnik, who was in ER, but was the main bad guy in the recent remake, the 2022 Hellraiser requel, as we're calling it. But he becomes a Cenobite at the end of that film. Sorry, spoilers. And you see the whole process, which is really cool. That was my favourite part of that film, which I thought generally was, but that finale was cool to watch, that creation of the Cenobite. Similarly, Kenneth Cranham's character in Hellraiser 2, I liked him being turned into.
Oh, that's hilarious! But really good. Yeah, he I guess is deemed worthy by Leviathan, who does the ultimate judging, I think. And he does get his sort of dream nightmare come true, where he turns from human to Cenobite. And then But then he ends up pissing off all the other Cenobites by going, I'm the one in charge. I want to be the priest of darkness.
Egos.
Yeah. He's got this weird sort of umbilical cord head, and it leads to nowhere. We don't know where it comes from. It's just off screen.
Maybe Leviathan's womb.
I think so. And then these weird animatronic, I don't know, like plant sort of triffid like things that kind of come out and do all sorts of horrible things to his patients. No, it's absolutely genius.
Let's talk, since we're on Cenobites, and we will talk more about Pinhead, and we talked a little bit about the female Cenobites. Can we talk a little bit more about the Chatterer?
We've got Chatterer, acted by Nicholas Vince, really good design.
Yeah.
But he's not given much character, is he?
No, he's not. He is not.
And then there's kind of 4 key ones in the first one. Then there's Butterball, acted by Simon Bamford, who's that sort of melted head thing, blob.
Like a melting.
I don't know what Butterball
butter.
is.
No, I don't know. I don't know. You get a Butterball turkey, is that right? I don't know. He does look like that. There's the moment he takes his shades off and is at the end, and his eyes are stitched together.
Oh yes.
But his backstory was he was called Laszlo. He was obese and perverted.
Oh, so again we've got more judgment coming in.
Yeah.
So I think
they're all judged, aren't they? They're all judged. Also, the guy that the Chatterer was before he was the Chatterer. I mean, he's got quite a tragic backstory. He was a kid, orphaned, or sent to an orphanage, and was told he would never amount to anything. Like all the orphans, that they were useless, worthless. Started in a relationship with a guy called Seth in his orphanage. They both became escorts.
Of course they did.
And I think he was quite good looking. I think his name was Jim. And
where are these backstories?
I found them on Fandom. I used to work at Fandom,
but what I mean is in the world of Hellraiser,
graphic novels.
So yeah, a lot of this stuff is really interesting, and it's really, it's fascinating. But it's stuff that you would know as a real fan.
Yes,
and you're reading the comics and playing the games and reading all the stories.
Sorry, I can't help
No, I love it. I absolutely love it because it starts making you understand the character a bit more.
Yeah.
I think Clive Barker definitely has sympathies and empathies with the Cenobites because of his other films like Nightbreed. Anyone who is considered an outsider. It's all about being an outsider at the end of the day and being bullied, an outsider, you don't fit in. And a lot of these people, maybe they do end up in the S&M scene where they actually, ironically, do feel incredibly accepted by becoming these other characters or, even having another name or pseudonym or...
Well, I think what is really under attack in particularly this film, the first film, is the society, the construct, these strict moral guidelines that we are supposed to live by.
Marriage is in there.
Yeah, and how kind of fake that is, and probably damaging, to kind of crowbar yourself into those when there's so much more to the human experience that we are suppressing. I think that's what's under attack more than anything. But I guess there's a line that you cross.
Yes, yeah. And the box represents that, and the box obviously a bit like Pandora's box. Again, hang on, is Pandora's box in Christianity or not, or is it in Greek myth? I'm getting confused with my mythos.
Comes from. I don't know where
Pandora's box. Isn't that Christian? I should look that up quickly. I don't know if that's a Christian story, but anyway, Pandora's box.
Curiosity.
It's curiosity. You want to know. You would do anything to find out the truth. You find the truth. You open the box and you unleash chaos upon the world or your world, I guess.
Yeah, and I suppose it's asking whether it's better to remain,
to stifle that and accept your domesticity as wifey.
Yeah.
In the case of Julia and Larry.
Yeah.
Or do you indulge your dark desires?
And certainly, as we said, like in Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, Julia has fully embraced Leviathan
and felt free, and she feels all free because of it. I mean, of course, she is sort of punished. They ultimately do get punished. Maybe they sort of have to have a bit of a moral compass when they're doing a film. Although she tries to save that little girl at the end, you know, and she holds on and she just pulls her skin off like a glove and falls. But I think, because I was thinking, classic, always happens. I thought Julia's gonna, play some horrible trick here, but I think she was, because she says, "Trust me."
Yeah.
Why would you trust someone who's just put on someone else's skin? But oh no, then it turns into what's her face? Kirsty. Scrap that. It's Kirsty wearing the skin of Julia. That's where it gets a bit silly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go back to Hellraiser 1.
Hellraiser 1, where it's slightly less weird.
I mean, ultimately, she's betrayed by Frank, who she was kind of living for. She was serving him by giving him. She was completely in his thrall, under his spell. She was reluctant to bring him victims, but did it because she wanted Frank back, and he was a narcissist and in control of her and all of that. So I do have some sympathy with Julia in this first film, and he ends up stabbing her accidentally, but then sucking the life out of her for his own good.
In number 2?
No, in the first one. And these are kind of this shriveled shell, although she somehow manages to get herself to the bed and open the box. And is that an attempt to send him back to hell? I wasn't sure.
That kind of happens all off camera though, because you sort of see her dead body at the end on the mattress.
But holding the box.
Yes, it is. She is holding the box.
So I thought, did she realise like the error of her ways, and is she trying to rectify it by sending him back to hell? I'm not sure.
Or trying to summon the Cenobites and become get to hell herself. Who knows? Sometimes logic does have to go out the window with this one.
So, yeah. I mean,
what's next?
I mean, we've talked about.
Should we pause?
Okay. I think we can start wrapping up
because we're on 51 minutes.
I just wanted to mention the vagrant character.
Oh yeah, becomes the devil, or whatever he becomes.
Because he never really features again. There is a vagrant character that pops up in the film Revelations. There is an unofficial remake.
Yeah.
But it's not quite the same. You never get another character that appears human and then transforms into that flying creature. It's weird.
The one at the end of the first one, he flies off with the box. Yeah. It's the vagrant. I know.
He's apparently called the Puzzle Guardian.
Oh, yeah. I think it's like one of the servants of Leviathan, I guess. But yeah, you're right.
But
the character doesn't come back.
Should we mention him?
We could do. I don't know how.
Or not. Should we just wrap up?
Have I done?
Do you want to talk about?
Have we done all the funny bits?
No.
Doug Bradley. Jason. Oh, that's like going about a completely different film there.
What we think is.
Well, I've got. I put here. So, Kim, what are some of the key themes? Themes.
Yeah.
There's fucking loads. Sadomasochism. The puzzle box is the gateway. I've mentioned Pandora's box. The lure of the unknown. I mean, there's like human curiosity is a theme.
Family secrets, closed doors, broken homes, suburbia, tension between.
And for me, religion.
Yeah, religion. Yeah.
Is.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's interesting that we touched on the idea of being an outsider, not fitting in, because that's a real theme of his. So that's in there.
I think it's that that kind of that I would probably say that the real villain or source of evil is that the narrow definition of what's acceptable and what we should live by. I don't know. In society, again, it's always something society.
No, but that's interesting. That's good. That's interesting. It's almost like they do get punished for their sins, but they have the courage to at least go there and not accept normality, domesticity.
If you're not fitting into this, you are punished because you're an outsider. You don't conform.
Oh God, there's loads.
I know, it's really rich. It's really rich. And then I've got an outro. And then I'll say, follow us on socials.
Let me do, I tell you what, I'll do, what am I doing? Oh no, that's like more of a beginning.
But if there's anything else you want to say it now.
Well, there's a few things, but how did we end?
What are we going to start with?
Let's have a listen. I mean, some of it, we'll have a listen and see how, if, do you want to, or have a, I'll just.
I can hear through your...
There you go. Turn it around? No.
We can hear.
Or trying to summon the Cenobites to become get to hell herself. Who knows? Sometimes logic does have to go out the window. With this one. Oh, let's cut it. Logic goes out the window.
Yeah, okay.
How do I say it? Or trying to summon the Cenobites to become get to hell herself. Who knows? Sometimes logic does have to go out the window. With this one.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'll take from Cool.
Okay.
So logic goes out the window. So we can maybe start a new thing. What did I do again? Oh yeah, that one. I'll start with a sentence and you can pick up, and then we'll go into the key themes: sadomasochism, your one,
Yeah.
humanity, and I mean, in terms of the film, I felt like I really had this in my head earlier. Now it's gone. Forces of evil. Religion, desire, lust.
Yeah.
Lust, we haven't even said the word.
No, right.
Religion, desire, lust, family. Probably the main themes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Family stroke, domesticity, normality, fitting in. And what's driving the wrongdoing? It's one of the 7 deadly sins, I'd say. It's lust.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going down the religious route.
Yeah.
And the biblical epic kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy-ish?
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Just so I've got something to say, I'm just going to read off this.
Yeah, okay.
So Barker has created a very strange and very complex world here. And it doesn't all hold up to logic. I think it's more of a dark exploration into sadomasochism, being careful what you wish for, curiosity, and I guess because to me it's definitely biblical. There's so much religious iconography. I think it's looking at some of the deadly sins. I especially find it interesting knowing what you brought up about the backstory, about the chatterer. He was, Butterball was fat. And then I'm thinking, the 7 deadly sins, one of them's gluttony, one of them is lust. So I think lust, unfortunately, even though we enjoy it and love it, it is the driving force behind the human curiosity of this film, and of people like Frank. They're so curious, they are willing to give up their flesh. Flesh is a real theme as well. I mean, just in all of his films and his books and the aesthetic and the SFX, it's all skin and flesh. And, even being able to go beyond that. And do you have the courage to go beyond that? So in a way, I think maybe we admire people like Frank and Julia for having the courage to literally go there and not be safe and not be stuck in marriage and domesticity. But ultimately they are sort of punished unless they're willing to become Cenobites and true purveyors of what, I suppose, of evil doings. Yeah, but they're quite pure with their evil. If you become a Cenobite, they're quite pure about it, aren't they? They're quite fussy about who gets to be in the Order of the Gash.
Yeah, I think, the Cenobites don't distinguish between pain and pleasure, and that's a reflection or a suggestion of how we should be more open to sensation and less moral in our judgments, perhaps. I think there's an idea in the film that and the franchise that society's boundaries are very narrow and stifling, and a lot of people don't always fit into that. But if they try to explore beyond that, they're punished. I think Family Secrets, this is set in suburbia and in a house largely, and closed doors is a big theme, and the whole kind of exploring what goes on beneath. A broken home, that's another factor within this, and the whole tension between propriety and the inner self is explored. And I don't know if it's clear whether that the film is pointing out a specific villain. It's just saying, I guess, that these things, if we explore beyond what's allowed, what's acceptable, are punished in society.
Yeah, it punished in society. That's kind of the key thing, is that society is I mean, obviously Pinhead is the judge here, but we're just as judged in our everyday lives in society. And
actually, when at the last so Hellraiser 10 Judgment, which is all about judgment of people, it concludes the franchise really nicely. I know they rebooted it with number 11 3 years ago, but in that film, his worst punishment, Pinhead's worst punishment, is being banished from hell to live out his days on Earth. That's what happens, because that is a worse punishment than hell. And on that note,
yes, I really enjoyed doing the rewatches for this podcast, for this episode. I think I wouldn't say it's underrated, because it's got a huge fan base, but I actually really enjoyed number 2. I thought it was highly imaginative. It gave me it opened up a portal in my own mind and gave me batshit crazy dreams, and I just admire how creative and imaginative and rich the tapestry of Clive Barker's work is, just in terms of all the design, the special effects, the makeup. It's real artistry. So that's what's brilliant about it.
It is. What's your pleasure? You say it. You're better than me.
What's your pleasure, Keen? My pleasure right now is finishing this podcast on a happy note with a glass of wine.
Well, all that remains then is for us to say thank you for joining us from the fiery depths of hell, whence you came and whither thou shalt return upon leaving this podcast. Us too, come on, let's face it, we're all damned, I think. But we hope you found it interesting and at the very least fun. We shall return soon with another glimpse into the world of villainy. But for now, we'll leave you with a quote about evil from Pinhead in Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. It's not called Hellraiser 3, is it? Just Hellraiser, Hell on Earth. Here we go. There is no good, Monroe. There is no evil. There is only flesh.
Love it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Bye.
Well done. Well summed up. Thank God you had a sum up, outro and everything. Yeah. But that's brilliant, because we know roughly the structure now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Opening, memories, silly bits, backstory, trivia, big discussion that goes on for that.
And then we bring it back to the characters, but we skip around
themes, and then having an evil quote either from the film or general philosophers or whatever.
Yeah, well done, Emma. That's so good. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it was a hard one because it's so big.
Hellraiser, well, that was hard.
But really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're not just doing how was it made and what
there was a discussion about our thoughts about the concept of good and evil,
clever, and talk about society,
but also fun.
Oh, what other
and funny
can we do?
Well, we should do Videodrome.
I was going to say, my long live the long live the new flesh. That's it. I'm not going to, because I can't remember the film at all. Videodrome. I watched it so long ago. I've really got to rewatch it
before Friday. But then you can just do something.
But the thing is, I want to watch it there. In a way, you know, when it's like,
yeah. Well, you don't have to. If you prepare something like you said that was clips or something.
I know I haven't got very long. I've got
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I know.
I'll think of something. Anyway, come out of your corner.
I need another wee.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
this
worries.
mine.
Is there anything? Is there anything?
I can't believe we did it. No.
Because if there is, it's Finn.
No, there isn't anything gross in
I
this.
haven't checked since this morning though. That's the problem.